platform. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jillian. All right, my lovely students. So, I welcome you all on the platform of Arivu Pro. So, I am your teacher, mentor, and guide for the subject drafting. Okay, my name is CS Neha Ladha. So, let me take you to through the today's class, um, what we would be doing, overview of things. I would be trying and talking about what we would be trying and addressing all the things today in the class, okay, so that you have an understanding of the subject. Now, before I start with that, my request to all of you is a simple thing, okay? That please make sure that you talk to me, you speak to me. That is very important, because if you do not speak to me, then in that case, what would happen? I would not be able to understand what is the problem, where is the problem, what are you not understanding, etc. etc. Okay, so make sure that you do what? You are talking to me properly. Okay, now let us start with what? Let me tell you what exactly we would be doing it in the class today. Okay, guys, so we are starting with the class today, and this is the exact roadmap which is there for the class. Okay, so obviously in today's class, guys and girls, we would be, first seeing what we would be talking about me, because it is very important for you to understand your teacher. Okay, whether you are in right hands or not, all those things are very important for you to know, and hence in the class, first thing I would talk is about me. Second, we would be talking about the basics of drafting. Okay, basics of drafting, as in what is this subject all about, what is expected from this subject for you. Okay, then we would be talking about how are these classes different from the normal classes. Okay, if I talk about the normal classes, how are these classes different? And a very important point which has always helped me in my life throughout. Okay, this rule I have always followed, and this rule has helped me in the class. Then what is that you can expect from the classes? And then there would be a challenge for the day. Challenge for the day, what is that? Wait for some time. I will let you know what is challenge for the day. So first thing you need to know about me. Oh, I am half seen here. My things are half seen. So good morning and namaste. My name is CS Neha Ladda. I have done CS, MBA and MCom. Have been teaching from last 17 years. Okay, don't go by this face thinking she's a, she might have 2-3 years of experience. No. 17 years when I have been teaching in this particular field. You name a commerce field and I have taught students of that field. CA, CS, CWA, ACCA, CMA, okay, LLBs, MBAs, MComs, BComs, BBAs. I have taught all the students of all the streams of commerce. You just name it and I have taught. I have also written 5 books, guys. Okay. 3 books for the MBA students, sorry, CS students, and 2 books for MBA students. Apart from this, don't use good words for me, but your institute material, ICSI material. I have also authored twice for ICSI, in fact 3 times for ICSI module. So this time, the new module, I have actually written one of the chapter of corporate restructuring. Okay. Last time I wrote one chapter for drafting and one chapter for corporate restructuring. So I have even done the drafting of ICSI module. Okay. I have been a visiting faculty for various colleges, like you name a college in Bangalore if you are from Bangalore, and I have taught in that college as well. as a visiting faculty. I would have taught in that particular college. So now also I am associated with various colleges of Bangalore, okay, teaching online for them. So yeah, this is pretty much my introduction. Okay, I one more time welcome all of you on the platform. Now guys and girls, how are these classes different? I don't know guys what has happened, because automatically all these colors have changed and this has become horrible. Okay, this has become some different color. I have actually tried and put a Revu's color everywhere, but I don't know, conversion has made it something different. So please bear with me. I will try and explain you everything. How are these classes different? We'll talk about this in a while. But there is a very, very important thing that I'm going to speak now. You're supposed to listen to me very carefully. So which subject I'm going to teach you guys? You know the name of the subject? In the chat box. In the chat box. Do you know the name of the subject which I'm going to teach? Come on guys, I'm waiting to hear from you. Drafting. Yes. Okay, don't send a direct message guys. Okay, please send a message to everyone so that everyone can know. Yes. Drafting, pleading and appearances. Yes, Purti. Correct. Full name is required to be told. The subject that I would be teaching you is called as drafting, pleading and appearances. Okay, fine. Alright. Now, what is the objective of this particular subject? What is the objective of this subject? If I talk, do you know what type of knowledge is required? Is it a general knowledge or is it expertise knowledge which is required in this particular subject? So this subject needs expert knowledge. Okay, what kind of knowledge is required? Expert knowledge. I think this is something you should know for all the subjects. Okay, how do I find out, ma'am, which type of knowledge is required for each subject? Because it's not about me only, it's about all the subjects you should know. This you can find out in your modules. So once you open your module, as soon as the syllabus starts, before the syllabus only, before the start of the syllabus, they have written two things: objective of the subject and type of knowledge. Is it, expertise knowledge or is it a mediocre knowledge? So they have written it there. Now suppose they have said that it is a mediocre knowledge, which means what? Which simply means you have to have a okay kind of understanding of that particular subject. Okay, you need to have a okay kind of understanding of that particular subject. You don't need to have an in-depth knowledge of that subject. Your questions would also be coming like that only. That is very important role, right? The final paper also would not have expertise questions but a mediocre kind of question. In simple words, the question paper would be a easy question paper, simple question paper. So drafting, pleading and appearances, this subject needs expert knowledge. Okay, what kind of knowledge is required here? Expert knowledge is required in this subject. This subject, now, this is the first time this subject is divided into two parts. Okay, there is part A and then there is part B. Okay, part A is drafting. Basically, drafting and conveyancing is given in part A. Part A is for how much marks, guys and girls? 70 marks. Please keep a notebook handy. Okay, do not sit in the class without a notebook. Okay, please sit with a notebook in the class because there would be lots to write in my class. Drafting is all about drafts. So you have to write the drafts in my class. Okay, we will be sitting and drafting it all together. So drafting is part A, which consists of 70 marks. And how many chapters are there? 8 chapters are there in part A, which means roughly some 7-8 marks each chapter is there. If I have to bifurcate, 70 marks, 8 chapters, which means somewhere around 8 marks each chapter. Pleading and appearances. Listen to me very carefully, huh? Listen to me very carefully what I'm saying. Pleading and appearances. Okay. This is 30 marks portion. This has how many chapters? 6 chapters. So roughly each chapter is of 5 marks. You will get 5 marker questions from each chapter in the exam. Now, what should be the strategy for the subject? Very, very important thing. First day you should decide what would be the strategy of this subject for me. If you are not able to find out on your own, ask your teachers. If that is also not helping you, then in that case, ask your friends who have already cleared this exam. What comes, what doesn't comes. But the problem is now the syllabus has changed. Huh? So be very careful with this. But create a strategy for your subject. So what should be the strategy of this particular subject, guys and girls? So strategy of this subject should be simple. This part of 30 marks should be done perfectly. Ma'am, 6 chapters, 30 marks. Don't you think it is too much? No. Because it is really very simple chapters which are given here. Okay. Even if it is for 30 marks, but the efforts that you need to put to study those 30 marks would be very less. One. And second, okay, when you are studying these 30 markers, okay, that would be much more simpler. From exam point of view, this part is more simpler. So first finish perfectly this 30 marks. So out of 100, 30 is sorted. Now here in drafting, out of 70 marks, almost 30 marks I would have done in the class only. Ma'am, remaining you will not do in class. I would cover each and everything. Don't worry about that. But I am saying 30 marks would be done in the class means around 30 marks theory would be there. Okay. So theory is something I would have finished perfectly in the class itself. Right. Okay. In the class itself it would have been done. Remaining 40 marks which is there. That also we would do it in the class only. But it all depends on your drafting skills. How much you practice at home. So this 70 marks would need, this 40 marks would need a little more efforts from you, okay, personally. Which means you are supposed to practice the drafts at home. Don't worry, I'll tell you the techniques also. I'll teach you everything in the class. Okay, but you really need to practice it at home. That is something which is supposed to be done at home. For sure. Okay, you need to practice that at home. So this is something which is required to be done. What? Required to be followed by you. So are you clear with the strategy of the subject that I am trying and talking to you? Okay. So this is about the subject. Total number of chapters 14. Okay. The objective of this particular subject is to give complete knowledge of drafting, conveyancing, pleading and appearances. I'll talk about pleading, appearances, drafting, conveyancing very soon. So don't worry about this part. This is the objective of this particular subject. Now, let us talk Let us talk about what? Let us talk about how these classes are different. It is dancing. That's how the classes are different. Okay, wait. How are these classes different? So one, you will get complete subject knowledge without any doubts. Okay, you would be given complete knowledge of the subject. You would be told every aspect of the subject. Ma'am, do I need to read module after this? No. If you read, nothing like it. But do I need to really read it? No. My notes covers everything, guys. Everything it covers. Notes would be given to you. revision notes would be given to you, which would be in the form of charts. Okay, test and exams would be happening for you. Okay, and we would be having lot of games, challenges, activities in the class every day. Every day. And you know what? This challenge is something which I would be opening for as a competition. I'll tell you about that later. Okay. So that is how these classes would be different. And obviously, we would be friends rather than a teacher and a student relationship. Okay, which is equally important. Now, I think I've covered most of it. Now, my car is standing here and we are supposed to cover the most important part of these classes. Listen to me very carefully because yes, this is the most important part. I don't know, my PPT has become horrible. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you a story for next 5-7 minutes. And guys and girls, this story is just not something which should be followed here in CS. It should be followed everywhere in life to be successful. This story is very, very important, and you need to understand this story very, very carefully. So, what happened was there was a sculptor. He created 3 statues. These statues were exactly same looking statues. Like how the first statue looked, similar was the second statue. So the statues were looking exactly same. There was no difference in the 3 statues. Same ears, same eyes, everything was exactly same. Now what happened? He went to King Akbar. You know King Akbar, right? He went to King Akbar and said, "My lord, I have created 3 statues which are exactly same looking statues. There is not even a single difference in the 3 statues. You can't find the difference in the statues. But one statue is of 5,000 rupees. Sorry, one statue is of 500 rupees. One statue is of 5,000 rupees. And one statue is of 50,000 rupees. Can you tell which statue is of 50,000 rupees? King Akbar came down from his throne, saw the 3 statues very carefully, okay, and he couldn't find a single difference in the 3 statues. He went back and sat on his throne and then told his kingsmen, okay, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, go and see the 3 statues. Whosoever tells me which statue is of 50,000 would get a award from me. All the kingsmen goes and sees the statues very carefully. Very, very carefully. But they are not able to find any difference. Okay. They are not able to find any difference in the 3 statues. Okay. They are not able to find any difference in the 3 statues. Then Akbar calls his most intelligent kingsman. Okay, that is Birbal. Birbal also sees the 3 statues very carefully. Couldn't find the difference. Then Birbal says, "My lord, give me time till tomorrow. I shall let you know which statue is of 50,000 rupees." In the night, he carefully observes the 3 statues. He very carefully sees the 3 statues. Okay, he carefully observes the 3 statues and is not able to find any difference. All of a sudden, he says, all the 3 statues have holes in the ear. He's like, why holes? What is there to have holes in the ear? Then what he does is, he calls for those marble balls, the small balls through which we have played in our childhoods, right? Okay, those small balls he calls up. And he puts one of the ball in one of the statue's ear. As soon as he puts, this ball comes out of the other ear. He's like, fine. Then he takes the same ball and puts it in the second statue's ear. And to his surprise, the ball comes out of its mouth. He's very happy, very delighted. At least I am able to find the difference now. Then he does what? He opens the third, he puts the ball in the third statue's ear and it just vanishes. It doesn't come out again. Now he knows the difference. He's very delighted, excited. Oh, finally I'm able to find the answer. Next day, King Akbar is super excited to know the answer. He asks Birbal, tell me Birbal, which statue is of 50,000 rupees? Birbal points to one of the statue and says, my lord, this statue is of 50,000 rupees. Akbar sees the sculpturer and asks the sculpturer, is Birbal correct? That sculpturer gives him a bow and says, my lord, he is really very intelligent. Yes, this statue is of 50,000. But can you tell me how did you find out why this statue is of 50,000 rupees? Birbal says, my lord, please call for some marble balls. He calls for the marble balls. He puts marble ball in one of the statue's ear. And it comes out of the other ear. He says, my lord, this statue represents your kingsmen. Okay, those kingsmen who have done what? Who do nothing. They hear from one ear and let it go from the other ear. They don't take any action. They'll just nod. They're useless. And hence, their value is least. They are of 500 rupees. These kingmen of yours do nothing. They are good for nothing. Then he puts ball in the second statue here and it comes out of its mouth. He says, my lord, this statue represents your kingsmen who hears and then they talk. They either gossip, they either give suggestions. They don't do anything or they criticize. Criticism at times is good because you get to know what is good and what is bad about you, right? You get to know everything about yourself. Okay, so that's why, okay, these are the people who at least do something. They are able to do something for the better for the society because at least by their criticism, at least by their suggestion, something is implemented. Okay, Birbal, what about third statue? I'm very excited to know about this. So he says, wait, king. Okay, the second statue value is of 5,000 rupees. A little more because they are able to help you in some ways. Then he puts the ball in the third statue ear and it never comes out. It never comes out. He says, my lord, this statue, listen to me very carefully, guys. This statue represents your kingsmen who listen to you, who understands everything, who digest everything. The ball has never come out. It is digested. So you talk your secrets to them. They are your loyal kingsmen. They are doing something good for the society. They understand what you want and accordingly come up with solutions for the things. So they are your kingsmen who has the maximum value and hence this statue is of 50,000 rupees. How was the story, guys? How was the story? And which statue you want to become? Which statue in my class? Just not my class. Everywhere. Which statue you want to become? Statue 1, 2, or 3? Okay. So, guys and girls, okay, you would have maximum value in life. You are also doing CS, others are also doing CS. Few CS get lot of packages, others are still sitting on the same pay. Why? Because you should try and become the third statue. In my class, just don't hear, she's saying, ayo, again she started. No, guys. Okay, don't do this. Don't become statue 1 and 2. Whatever I'm teaching in the class, listen very carefully. Understand it. Grasp it. Try and learn everything in the class itself. There would be so many revisions happening in the class that everything can be done, revised in the class itself. So make sure that you do what? You revise things in the class itself. You understand. If you have doubts, ask me doubts. Don't keep it with you. How can I ensure that I become statue number 3? Okay, how can I ensure that? I can ensure that. Oh, again this slide is gone. I don't know what happened. Okay, so how can I ensure that I am statue 3? How to get maximum from these classes? I want you to do, and that's your challenge for the day. First of all, I want all of you to write in front of your study desk. Okay, in front of your study desk. CS, whatever is your name. CS Neha Ladha, CS Gagan, CS Gillian, CS Pragati, CS Rose, CS Purti, CS Varshini. Write your name and stick it next to what? Your study desk. That would motivate you, that would bring positive affirmations, that would ensure that you are you are doing working hard to achieve your goals. Okay, you are struggling, you are fighting with the universe to achieve that what you want to achieve. So step 1, the challenge of the day, you are supposed to write it somewhere and keep it because it's not seen here. Okay, you are supposed to write what you aspire to become, what you want to become. Okay, that you should write and keep it in front of your study desk. Will you do it or not? In the chat box, will you do it or not? So I want pictures from all of you. How you will get those pictures, I'll let you know. Okay, from all of you saying that I've written CS this, CS that, like this you will write. Second, you are supposed to create a proper study desk today for yourself. I don't want a fancy one. It can be sitting down. It can be, a proper table and a chair. Okay. First of all, how many of you right now are sitting on a chair and a desk and studying in my class? In the chat box. In the chat box. None of you? See? Okay, Varshini says I do. Rosemary says yes, I do. How many of you? Only 2? Why? Others? You're sitting on a couch, bed. Why? No guys, not accepted. Couch pe let me sit and listen to our lecturer and dozed off. Don't do this. It's morning time. Already you might be a little sleepy because of the weather also. You might have studied late in the night. All those might be the reasons. So make sure you do what? You have a proper study desk. You sit on a chair and a table. That space should be clutter free, very important. There should be no clutter at all at any of these desks. I don't want a fancy one with a plant, with some quotes, nothing. Should be as clean as possible, and you have a notebook, pen, and your laptop. Don't use your phones to study, guys, please. have a laptop, okay, at least a bigger screen so that you can understand what I'm trying and teaching. So have a proper study desk and sit there and study. Third thing you can achieve this to be a third statue is by having a separate notebook of the subject. Your subject, you should have a separate, for each subject have a separate notebook. For example, for drafting, have a separate notebook. It should not happen that in your CS executive book only I'm continuing and writing the notes. Don't do that. If you don't want separate books, it's fine. You can have 5 in 1 notebook and use that notebook, though the entire book would be gone in one subject only. So I would always suggest have separate books, but have a separate section for each subject. How many of you promise that you'll do this? All three of these things you'll do. You would write near your study desk what do you aspire to become. Second, you will create a proper study desk for you which is clutter free, okay, which is neat, clean, okay. And finally, the third one, you'll have a separate notebook for the subject. How many of you promise me that you'll do all these three things? I'll do. Rose says. Others? Okay, okay, cool. Alright, guys. So, this is something which is required to be done by all of you. Okay. So, with this basic thing, okay, we are going to start with unit number 1. Okay. The class today would be for unit number 1. Obviously you would have not got the notes, okay. I've said I from my side I didn't send it, and my mistake, I should have sent it like 2 days back, okay, so that you could have taken the printouts. Ideally guys, for each chapter I'll send it advance, don't worry now on, okay. Take the printouts of the notes and do what, make sure that these notes are available with you on time, okay. These notes are with you on time. Alright, clear with the concept or not, so that in the class proper notes are available with us, okay. Proper notes are available with us in the class. You can do what, you can also ensure that you write the notes, you write in notes only. I'm just adjusting it, 1 minute. Yes. Okay. So basically guys, these notes, so ma'am, it will be chapter wise study material, not compiled one. No, I'm not giving you a compiled one. Okay. Because I want you to concentrate one at a time. Okay. We go, and it's a new syllabus. So we go slow. Okay. Because institute might issue some new add-ons once the review is done for the material. So I'm waiting for that. If there's some reviews or something which has come up, that's why we'll do one by one. And anyways, we have to study one chapter at a time. So how does compile notes help you? Okay, they would not help you. So the only thing is you have to just go every 2-3 days and get a printout done. I'll try and give you one first to 4 chapters. Okay, 1 to 4. I'll try and give you today, so you can take the printout of first 4 chapters. 4 ka slot. Is that okay? That works. Okay. So 4 chapters at a time. You can go and get the prints done. So that ways it helps you to understand the chapter better. Now guys, chapter 1. Okay. Now keep listening to me very carefully, because that's how the things would be working for you properly. Now, first of all, don't get scared with this subject. This is one of the subject where we are targeting exemptions. Okay, the target of ours is simple. We should get exemption in this particular subject. So our target is simple. Okay, and I'm writing the target here. Okay, the target is hashtag drafting 60 plus. Okay, that is our target. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. In CS professional, in all the CS professional subjects, I have got 60 plus marks. There is not a single subject where I've not got 60 plus. That too, I did a self study because at that time CS was not popular and there were no coaching classes available. Okay, and online was not a concept at that time. Okay, so I did a self study and I cleared this exam at one go. So that's our target. First, we have to believe in ourselves that I can get that marks 60 plus. How many of you believe in the chat box? How many of you believe that you will get 60 plus? I do. I like your spirit. Immediately you replied, I do. Okay, others, I do. Only 2-3 people who are believing. I'll get exemptions. Hey, exemption means what? I have not cleared other subject, my dear. I will get 60 plus in all the subjects. That's what I should believe. Okay. Yes, I do. Okay. Awesome, guys. So that's our target. Now, how do I achieve this target is very important. See, when I talk about each chapter except for pleading and appearances, leave pleading and appearances. Okay, I'm talking about drafting, part A. Part A consists of two types of things. Okay, basically it consists of one, theory, and second it consists of drafts. You are supposed to make those drafts. Now, what should be your target? Why people do not get good marks in this subject? And what is that, how we can achieve? That's what I tell all my students. And most of my students get good marks in this particular subject because this is what we follow. You should go step by step. That is very, very important. Okay. You should go step by step. Now, what are the steps? Step 1. I have to become perfect in theory. Okay. What people try and do is they try and study theory and practicals together. Practicals as in the drafts. They try and study the drafts and the theory together, which doesn't help. Okay, it doesn't help. So basically, if you study theory and practical together, you are not able to concentrate on either of it. What I did for my studies is, first I used to, let's say chapter 1. I used to first finish and become expert, get all the expertise in theory part. Any question for the theory, okay, I would be able to answer the questions. Alright, any theory questions I would be able to answer. Then I would go and expertise on the practical aspect. Okay, so step 2 would be what? Step 2 would be practicals. Practicals, you understood what is the practical part here. Practical means drafts. Okay, there is no practical questions like accounts. Practicals means drafts. Now step 3 I had, that is I would always solve scanner. That is what I'll make students also do it. Okay, you are supposed to solve the scanner for the subject. Okay, the scanner for the subject is required to be solved. Okay, step 4. Oh, I'll write it here for you. Step 4 basically means, would be what? I would write test for the chapter. And step 5 would be, I would be writing test for the subject. Are you clear with the concept or not? So this is something I would be doing. 5-step model which is to be followed for drafting. First, I shall be practicing the theory. Okay, I should be making myself perfect in theory. then the practical aspects, then I should be solving the scanners, okay, then I should be doing a chapter test, then I should be writing the whole subject test later at the end. These 5 steps are to be followed by you, should be followed by you every day. Okay, every day, in the sense every time you are studying this particular subject, and with little change here and there, this model can be applied to all the subjects, but then this is something which we are supposed to follow. One more thing I missed here, okay, which I can say here, step 4, 3 point, I will mark it as 3A. You should have revision notes for the subject. Revision notes basically is very crisp notes, very small notes, so that I can understand the subject well. Okay, whenever I want to revise this subject, I am not preparing for today and tomorrow. I am preparing for what? For my exams. Exam preparation involves 4 steps again. 1. You should be prepared with all the revision notes, which are very crisp, which you can revise in those 8 to 10 hours that you will get before writing the exam. Second, you should be mentally prepared. Mentally prepared means the stress should not come in. You should be talking to yourself, mentally strong. Third, how do I behave in exam? That is very equally important. With time, I'll tell you everything. I'll make you prepare for all 4 things. And fourth, my presentation in exam. That is equally important. So all these 4 things I should be prepared. And for out of these 4, the first one I am preparing from day 1 itself. That is revision notes. Okay, that is what we would be doing. So any doubts, any questions, any queries, any suggestions you have? Okay. Till now, anything that you feel, ma'am, you are open to share with me if you have anything to, any queries, any suggestions. So you can tell me, ma'am, you know what, you can do this also. This would ensure that we get what? We have better understanding of the subject matter. I would be very open to do that. Now, what are we supposed to study now in this chapter? We are starting with chapter 1. Okay, that is your what? Types of documents. The name of the chapter is Types of Documents. Okay, that is something that we are supposed to start with. Types of documents. A very easy, a very easy chapter to say. Only few drafts, because I have to make you aware about the drafts which are there. Hence, I am telling you only few drafts, only 2 or 3 drafts which would be there. Alright, so let's, try and start the subject. Oh, one last thing before I start this subject. The other day, I was watching a TED talk, I guess. I don't remember what was it. And they said what? The best way to learn things. That was the heading, and that's where I, picked up the talk to listen so that I can tell my students how you can study better. Okay, how you can do it better. So the TED talk says the best method, and I also realize, yes, this is the best method. The best method of studying a particular subject or learning, okay, is anyone knows that method? I have been doing it since I was studying my CS, and now I realize that yes, this is the best method. The best method is to teach others. Because when you are learning for yourself, at that time, what would happen? You would just try and understand. You would not, there may be topics where the concepts may not be very clear to you, and you may leave. But if you are teaching it to someone else, you would try and create a conceptual way of teaching that particular subject to the other person. You would try and put efforts to learn that particular subject. So that is something we would be following in the class. Okay, now how we would be following it in the class. So guys and girls, okay, whenever I am teaching a particular topic, you guys are supposed to come back and teach that topic to me. So when I ask someone, okay, Pragati, please tell me what is a document. She should be able to explain me, teach me like how I do it. Trust me, that's the best way of learning a particular subject. Trust me, you would be what? You would be understanding it the best. And in fact, you would be learning it. Learning in the sense, you would be remembering it for the rest of your lives. Okay, so on that note, first I am starting and teaching you, later you would be teaching me. So let us start with the chapter. The name of the chapter is Types of Documents. Okay, we would be studying what is meant by documents, etc., etc. Then we are supposed to study deeds and agreement. How do I teach? I divide the chapter into parts so that each part is very clear to you. So part 1 of this chapter deals with 3 topics. Okay, in fact 4 topics you can say, but roughly 3 topics. One is what is document, second is what is deed, and third what is an agreement. Why I said 4 topics? Because agreement or contract. Okay, so we are supposed to study what? 4 parts in this particular thing. Okay, I am rewriting the part 1. Clearly I am writing it for you. We would be studying what is a document, what is a deed, what is an agreement. So these are the 3 topics that we are supposed to study in the chapter. What is a document, what is a deed, and what is an agreement. Okay, so these are the 3 topics that we would be studying. What is contract? I told you it's a small thing. And then difference between deed, agreement and contracts. This is part 1 of the chapter, which is basics. Okay, since it is types of documents, we'll study more types of documents. But this is the first thing. Types of documents. Dude, first know what is document, no? So that's where we know what is document. If you have known what is document, you should know what is deed also. And when I talk about deeds, we should talk about agreements and contracts. So, okay, the third topic that we are supposed to study is what? Agreements and contracts. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? You have to use lot of chat box for me. Okay, because I do not believe in teaching at one go. Okay. Now my question to all of you is simple question. What exactly is document according to you? Don't read the definition here and tell me. I want a definition from you guys. What is documents? Right now, whatever you're seeing on the screen, is it a document? Yes or no? Is it a document? Yes or no? Is it a document? Yes or no? Yes. Is this notebook which has some information written, is it a document or no? Answer is yes. So basically, anything on which something is written is a document. If I tell you in simple language, there's a piece of paper on which mobile number is written. Is it a document? Answer is yes. there is a paper on which a girl wrote date today question mark question mark question mark. Is it a document? Oh, that is the most precious document for the guy. If it is a color, if it is the right girl. Okay, so it's the most precious document. So yes, that's a document. So basically a document is one or more official pieces of paper. So it's a piece of paper with writing on them. Something is written on them. Simple words, something is written on them. Okay, this word document is very broad. Okay, the meaning of this word document is very huge. So any piece of paper on which something is written is a document. This definition is given in Collins Dictionary. Okay, simple. Understood this definition? It is a simple definition which says that Collins Dictionary says a document is a piece of paper, okay, on which something is written. On which something is written. Now, what is the definition given in General Clauses Act? Can someone tell me what is General Clauses Act? Do you know what is General Clauses Act? Yes, no. What is General Clauses Act? Can someone define and tell me? Can someone tell me what is this act? So General Clauses Act. Yes, it is an act which defines various terms, and if a particular term is not defined in a particular act, you can pick the definition from this General Clauses Act. Are you clear with the concept or not? So if General Clauses Act, it says, the name itself says, it has all the definitions. General clauses, it has the definitions, right? So definitions are given. Ma'am, suppose company is defined in General Clauses Act, company is defined in Companies Act. Which definition, and both are not same. Which definition should be given priority? Which definition? Very good, Varshini. It is the Companies Act, okay, particular statute. Very good, Spurti. Okay, so you should give Companies Act as the priority. But if that term is not defined there, then you can pick up this definition from General Clauses Act. Yes, got it? What is the definition that is given? So, section 3 subsection 18 of General Clauses Act defines the term document. Okay, document is defined in section 3 subsection 18. Okay, now what is the definition of the term document? Document includes any matter written, expressed or described upon any substance by means of letter, figures or mark. On a piece of paper, I just draw this. Is it a document? My heart is so dirty. Okay, anyways. Okay. Alright, still dirty. Okay, does it mean something? Is it a document? Is it a document? Answer is yes, it's a document. Why it's a document? Because there is a figure, there is a mark, okay, or by more than one of those means which is intended to be used or which may be used for the purpose of recording that matter. To record a particular subject matter, if you use a document which is written, it should be written, that's it. The only criteria, it should be written. And what you can write? Either a letter, figure or marks. Okay, it would be considered as a document. It would be considered as a document. Section 3, subsection 18 defines this particular term. Are you clear with the definition that is given here? Now, Companies Act section 236 also defines the document. But it is an inclusive, everywhere it is an inclusive definition, guys. Okay, it is not something which is a fixed definition. It is an inclusive definition which is given. So document includes what? Summons, notice, requisitions, order, declarations, forms, registers, whether issued, sent or kept in pursuance of this act or under any other law for the time being in force, maintained on paper or in electronic format. So they have told it should be either in paper, on paper, or it should be in the electronic format. Either of them would be considered as a document. Whatever is shown on the screen right now, is it a document or no? Is it a document or no? Say yes or no. Say yes or no. Yes. Why? Because it's a piece of paper in electronic format which has certain information. Okay? Which has certain information. Good job, guys. Okay? So this is what is document. Now under Income Tax Act, document is again defined. Now, obviously, when we talk about Income Tax Act, the definition would be according to Income Tax Act only, right? What is the definition given? Document includes an electronic records as defined in section 21T of the Income Tax IT Act. Okay, basically Information Technology Act. Information Technology Act provides that electronic record means data record or data generated, image or sound stored, received or sent in electronic form or microfilmed or computer generated. Basically, they have tried and included everything in the definition. Okay, so this is what is the first topic, meaning of the document. Now, can you tell me the keywords so that I can write the keywords here for you? What is document? Can you tell me the keywords? I want all of you to give me the keywords. You are teaching me now. Tell me, please. Okay, it should be in writing. Very good. What else? What else? This writing can be in the form of what? It can be in the form of letters, figures, marks, right? Very good, Rose. Okay, it can be on paper or it can be electronic. Good job, guys. Good job. Good job, Spurti. Can be electronic. Yes, I wrote that. What else? What else? What else? This document can be issued, it can be sent, or it can be kept. Any one of the thing can be. You can keep it for yourself, you can send it to the people, or you can issue it as a circular. Now, is the keywords clear to you? Are the keywords clear to you? Fourth point, 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be issued, sent or kept. Spurti. It can be issued, sent or kept. Done? Okay, guys. So we are done with the first topic. Okay. In the first topic, we studied what is the document. Document is defined under Collins Dictionary as a piece of paper with writing on them. The General Clauses Act, Section 3, subsection 18 defines the term. Okay, so what is the definition given? It includes any matter written, expressed or described upon the substance by the means of letter, figures or marks. Okay, so General Clauses Act, the definition is given like that. Finally, last, okay, Companies Act Section 236, double of section of General Clauses Act. Okay, so if you can remember the section of General Clauses Act, Section 3, subsection 18. If you double that figure, 18 into 18, okay, 18 into 2, that is 36. Okay, 236 defines the term document under Companies Act. I hope you are clear with this concept. Now guys and girls, we are supposed to study the next topic, that is what is a deed. So first thing that is given is deed is in a writing. Have you seen ever a deed? In the chat box, have you ever seen a deed, guys and girls? It's okay, you can say yes or no, whatever it is. So, deed basically means a document which basically creates rights in the property. So, have you seen a sale deed? If your father sells a particular house, sale deed? No? Okay. Most of you are saying no. So, deed is basically a document in writing. Is deed a document? Answer is yes. That much is clear to all of you. It is in writing. Where do you write this particular document? 3 places. Either of the places can be used. On a paper. Okay? On a paper. Alright? Vellum or parchment. Now I don't need to tell you what is paper, but I definitely need to tell you what is vellum and parchment. So vellum basically means in olden times people used to not have papers. Okay, so they used to use animal skin to write what? To write the documents. So that was called as vellum, which was if it was untanned, unfinished, it was called as vellum. The moment it was tanned, it was finished, it was processed, and this parchment came from the skin of very young animals like lamb and all. I don't want to, there might be animal lovers here, we all are, and you might say how rude, but that was the olden times. They never had those options, so that was the only way to write. So did you get what is vellum and parchment? They'll never ask you in exam what is vellum, what is parchment. No, but you should know the meaning of these words. So deed is a writing. Where do you write? On a paper, vellum or parchment. It is sealed. Okay, it is sealed. Sealed means what? Sealed means you put a seal there. Okay, seal. Okay, you basically, so that it becomes more official, so that it becomes more known that yes, this is the document which is there. And it is delivered. Okay, it is delivered, whereby an interest. Now it is very important. What is happening in this document? It is a deed which is in writing on a paper, vellum, parchment, which is sealed and delivered. Delivered means given to the person to whom it would belong. Now what is it? Interest, rights or property passes. Okay, so basically any interest in the property. For example, lease deed, the interest is getting passed. Okay, rights or more property passes. Sale deed, the rights are getting transferred, the property is getting transferred. Or an obligation binding on some person is created, or which is in affirmation of some act whereby an interest, rights or property has been what? Has been passed. So are you clear with the concept or not? Let's go slow one by one. What is a deed, guys? A deed is a writing. First part is clear to everyone. It is a writing. That we all know. If it is not written, it is not a document, and if it is not a document, it is not a deed. Okay. So it is a writing. Where do you write? On paper, vellum or parchment. Sealed. You put a seal on it and delivered. Now what is happening here? So till here it is clear. What is happening? The interest, rights or property passes. Okay. What passes? RIP. Okay. Rights, interest and or property passes. RIP passes. Are you clear with the concept or not? Or it creates an obligation binding on some persons or which is a affirmation. That is okay. If you are clear with the crux, then other parts is okay. Can you give me some examples of deeds? Can you give me some example of deeds? I told few in class only just now. Tell me, guys. Okay, partnership deed, sale deed, very good. Lease deed, gift deed, very good, Spurti. Gift deed. lease deed. Okay, good job, guys. So basically, gift deed, sale deed, deed of partition, partnership deed, deed of family settlement, lease deed, okay, mortgage deed, etc. All these are examples of deed. Okay. Now, tell me which has a broader scope, deed or document? Which has a broader scope? Which has a broader scope? Very good. Document. Good job, Varshini. Okay, so document has a. So can I say this document? This very important statement. Deeds are instruments, but all instruments are not deeds. Or deed is a document, but all documents are not deed. Can I say this? Can I say this? Yes or no? First of all, you agree to this or no? Yes? Now, suppose a question comes in the exam, guys and girls. A question, very important thing I'm telling you now. Because I have to make you prepare writing answers also. Documents and instruments are used indifferently, ma'am. Yes, it is used indifferently, my dear. Okay. Now, deeds are in, suppose in the exam, question came for 5 marks. All deeds are documents, but all documents are not deeds. Comment. How will you write answer to this question? How will you write answer to this question? Don't tell me the answer. I just want, how will you structure your answer? Define deed, define document. Okay. Similarities, differences. Others, I want everyone to answer this question. Very important. Examples. Conclusion. Okay. Anyone else who wants to answer? Suppose the question comes in the exam. All deeds are in documents, but all documents are not deed. Comment. Now listen to me very carefully. In the first class itself, though I never do this anytime, but since this has come up, I will do that. I am telling you how to write comment questions. Now, how many of you are using a notebook to write your topics, write your things, etc.? So, make a separate section at the end, okay, and write this particular thing there. Where I would be telling you methods to write answers of each type of questions, okay? So, today we are learning how to write answers to comment questions. Okay, how do I write the comment question? Okay, so guys and girls, listen to me very carefully. You may make a note of what I am trying in telling you. You are supposed to divide your answers in 3 paras. How many paras? 3 paragraphs. The answers are to be divided. See, you just now told me how you'll write the answers. You have given me some 6, 7 paras. You'll write this, you'll write this, you'll write this. This is in general, I am telling you. First, listen. Para 1, okay, has to go with what? I'll tell you. So, para 1, you would be giving definitions. So, as you guys have told clearly, which 2 terms you will define here? Okay, you would be defining 2 terms. The first term being what? The first term is your definitions. Okay, 2 definitions. One, the document definition, and second, the deed definition. Right? This is what you would be doing in para 1. So, any comment question that comes, whatever is asked, that particular topic's reference is to be given in para 1. Para 2, you are supposed to do what? Okay, you are supposed to do in para 2 explanation to that particular subject matter, whatever is asked. Okay, explanation. How will I explain? Suppose this question. So I'll explain that, with the above definition, it is clear that document has a broader scope And anything which is in writing by default is considered as what? Is considered as a document. However, for a particular thing to be classified as a deed, what should be done? There should be a transfer, RIP basically, right? What is RIP? I already made you write. Okay, RIP is what? Basically, we have studied here, no? Rights, interest or property, any one of them should pass there. Okay, so the explanation should be given here, right? Explanation should be given. And finally, in the third para, you are supposed to do what? You are supposed to draw a conclusion. In the third para, you are supposed to draw the conclusion. How do I conclude? You have to clearly, don't write the heading conclusion. Okay, you are supposed to write good words, nice words, armed with above discussion. Okay, armed with above discussion. It can be said that. Now, if that statement, whatever is there, you find it correct, you find it proper, then same statement is to be written here as conclusion. But if you find that statement wrong, conclude the correct statement. Whatever is the correct statement, conclude that particular statement. Are you clear with the concept or not? How to write the answer to comment questions? Is it clear or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? So this is your activity number 2 for the day. Do you remember your activity 1? You are supposed to create a proper study desk. Okay, right there on the wall, basically on a sheet of paper, what do you aspire to become, and stick it on the notice board or on your walls. And third thing, okay, so this is one. And second, you are supposed to write you are supposed to write answer to this question. All deeds are documents, but all documents are not deed. Comment. All deeds are documents, but all documents are not deeds. Comment. Did you note the question? Did you note the question? Yes or no? Cool. So, are you clear with the first 2 parts of the chapter that we studied? The only possible question from first 2 parts is this. Either they'll ask all deeds are documents, or documents are not deed, or that is what they'll ask. Now guys and girls, we are supposed to study the next thing, that is agreement. Okay, we are supposed to study what is an agreement. Now, to clarify, I am not teaching you Contract Act. Please understand. Okay, the moment we enter into technicalities, okay, it would be a problem for all of you. The moment we enter into technicalities, it would be a very confusing stage for you. Now, agreement basically means what? Okay, agreement basically means what? The agreement which is enforceable at law, we all have studied this, is called as contract. But in drafting, generally the contracts are referred as agreement. You might have heard, no, people saying, let's enter into the agreement. What are you saying? I am a CS. Agreement basically means, okay, just to agree. It is not enforceable at law. What are you saying? I know everything about law. I am a CS. No, damn. Here agreement word is a general word which is used by laymen. And agreement basically means what? Contract only. Okay. So yes, technically there is a difference between contract and agreement, and we all know that difference because we have studied in foundation. We have studied in executives, so we all technically know that difference. But here, okay, contract and agreement is almost the same thing that is there. So an agreement which is enforceable at law is called as contract. We all know that. Okay, we all know. Generally, when a contract is reduced in writing, the document itself is called as an agreement. Did you understood the concept? What I am trying and telling you? What I am trying. So, is agreement binding or not? Don't answer from contract act point of view. Is agreement binding to the parties or not? In the chat box, yes or no? Yes. So you understood the difference what I am trying and telling. Okay. So basically, whatever rules are applicable for contract, the same rules are applicable for agreement as well. Okay. So accordingly, there cannot be an agreement unless there are two parties, okay, that agree to perform certain act or refrain from doing something. I don't think I need to explain you this. This you have studied already. Let's understand the various types of agreements which are there. You might have heard joint purchase agreement, joint venture agreement. So joint venture agreement means what? It's a contract. Okay, enforceable at law. But we say it agreement because generally in layman agreement is equals to contract. So first is sale purchase agreement. So if you are sale purchase agreement is for property. If you're buying and selling any property, what type of agreement you enter into? Sale purchase agreement. So for transfer of property, sale purchase agreement. Second, commercial agency agreement. When I appoint an agent to do a particular act on my behalf, let's say sell goods on my behalf. Okay, so we enter into which type of agreement? Commercial agency agreement. Commercial means what? Commerce, which means what? Business. So commercial agency agreement means an agreement which is entered for allowing a person to act on my behalf to sell the goods, to buy the goods. Okay, so that is called as what? That is called as commercial agency agreements, where the agent is given what? Agent is selling the principal's goods to the customer on behalf of the principal. For this, he is paid a commission, and the commission rate is given in the commercial agency agreement itself. Understood this concept as well? Next is collaboration agreement. Collaboration agreement means what? When the two parties are joining their hands, okay, for any purposes. For example, training, for any machine, for any technology, okay, for any designs, for research works, okay. So this is called as collaboration. They join hands together and they do that particular thing. Okay. Next, arbitration agreement. Okay, when the dispute is to be settled through arbitration, an arbitration agreement is required. Usually, you never prepare a separate agreement for this. Never. Because nobody wants to pay extra stamp duty again and again. What people do is, in the agreement itself, in the main agreements, for example, agency agreement is there. In the agreement only one clause is included that in case of any dispute, the dispute would be referred to the arbitrator appointed by the parties. Are you clear with the concept or not? Did you understood this particular thing or not? So arbitration agreement, the wish is yours. If you want to make a separate agreement, you can still make a separate agreement. But usually I am telling you the practical world doesn't do that. Hypothecation agreement. What is hypothecation? Can someone tell me? What is hypothecation? So in hypothecation, okay, basically what happens? The person lends the money. Okay, when he lends the money, he does not get the possession of the property. Okay, he does not get the property in his hand, but the the legal rights of that property passes to him till such time you don't clear the loan. The moment you clear the loan, okay, it is what? It is passed on back to you. That is hypothecation. Outsourcing. See, there are two works in the organization: core work and non-core work. Core is something which is very important in the organization. It cannot be given to anyone else. I only have to do it. Teaching, I only have to do it. But notes, somebody else can distribute. So notes per work I have given to someone else. So outsourcing is what? Whatever is the core work, I am only doing it. Whatever is the non-core work, I have given it to someone, okay, who does it on my behalf. He represents me only, okay, but he does it on my behalf. So that is called as non-core activities. Such non-core activities generate no revenue also for the organization. For example, let's talk about telecom industry. So for them, the customer care is a non-core activity because people are calling and asking so many things. It is a non-core activity. It doesn't generate any revenue. So that work, we do what? We transfer it to someone else who is an expertise in this and he does it for us. That ways, it is cheaper. Just imagine for customer care, I have to make 10 people sit in my organization. I have to pay their cost, everything, pay them all the benefits. So that's why I pass this work to someone else, and this is done through an agreement. And that agreement is called as outsourcing agreement. Next is agreement for assignment. Assignment is usually done for intellectual properties, guys. I transfer my rights to use the intellectual properties to someone else. Okay, they would do what? They would be actually taking care of those manufacturings, okay, those patent, trademarks, copyrights, etc. So that is done through agreement of assignment or assignment agreements. Next is shareholders agreement. It is also called as SHA. Okay, shareholders agreement is also called as SHA. For normal shareholders, you never do this agreement, but if yours is a company where you are allotting shares to, let's say, private shareholders, private investment is there, equity they are infusing, okay, or let's say a big companies are coming and investing in your company, so you enter into a shareholders agreement. Next, employment agreement. Tomorrow when you will go and work, they would be doing what? They would be creating the employment agreements. So these are the 9 types of agreements which are there. Okay, which is what? Which is called as sale purchase agreement, commercial agreement, collaboration agreement, arbitration agreement, hypothecation agreement, outsourcing agreement, agreement for assignment, and shareholders agreement. So what did we study in this particular topic? We studied 2 things. What is meant by an agreement? So basically, according to Contract Act, okay, agreement enforceable at law is called as contract. Whenever they ask you agreement, you have to give the definition from Contract Act, guys, because that only would make it more relevant. So agreement enforceable at law is called as contract. That contract in general language is also called as agreements. Okay, is called as agreement. So that is something that we studied here. And second thing that we studied is types of agreements. So there are 9 types of agreements which are there. Sale purchase agreement, okay, commercial agreement, okay, collaboration agreement, your arbitration agreement, hypothecation agreement, okay, outsourcing agreement, assignment agreement, and shareholders agreement. Last one is your employment agreement. Give me a second. I am giving you the acronym to remember all these 9 points at one go. Okay, I had made an acronym. I will just need a minute. Yes. For types of agreement, the wordings that you can remember is, okay, CS, again this is gone. The pencil is not charged, guys. I'll charge it. CS, you can write down. CS has, CS has AOA, Articles of Association, employment. CS has First write down this all capital. CS has AOA, employment. So C stands for commercial agency agreement. S stands for sale purchase agreement. Okay, has. H stands for hypothecation agreement. A stands for arbitration agreement. S stands for your shareholders agreement. AOA. Okay, so another A stands for your, what is that? Assignment agreement. O outsourcing agreement. Okay, and last one is what? AOA. Oh, sorry. AOA. Okay, AO and employment. So that is what? Employment agreement. There is no A. Okay, it has. But that, to remember the word articles of association, AOA we have done. Okay, so CS has AOA employment. C stands for commercial agreement. C stands for collaboration agreement. S stands for your shareholders agreement. CS. Okay. Then hypothecation agreement, arbitration agreement. Okay. And then finally we have what? Sale purchase agreement. Finally next is has के बाद AOA. A is your assignment agreement. O is what? O is your outsourcing agreement, and there is no A again, and last is employment agreement. Are all the 9 points clear to you? Yes or no? Tell me. Yes? Will you remember all 9 points? I'll ask you in some time. All the 9 points. So till here, everything is clear or not clear to you? Yes? Now, do I need to explain you what is contract? Okay, please read the difference between deeds, agreements and documents. I don't think I need to explain you. Sorry, deed, agreement and contract, not document. Sorry. Please read. If you have any doubts, ask. This is the original agreement we are talking about. The agreement as per Contract Act. Okay, as per Contract Act, nothing is created. Only when it is converted into a contract, then it would be considered as what? Rights would be created. Got it? Okay. So I am hoping part 1 of the chapter is clear to you. There is absolutely no doubt in part 1. So part 1 we studied what is deed, what is document and what is agreement. Then we studied types of agreements and differences. Is part 1 clear? In the chat box, I want everyone to answer. Come on guys, fast. Answer fast. Yes, you are getting the confidence. Okay, cool. So guys, we are supposed to start with the next part of the chapter, okay, which includes talking to public now. Okay, we are supposed to study things about talking to public. Okay, so that includes 3 things. Okay, 3 things. One, we would be studying about circulars. Okay, second, we would be studying about business notice, public notice. Okay, that would be given. And third, we would be studying about the tenders and bidding. Okay, so this is according to us part 2. Okay, so the part 2 of the chapter deals with what? It deals with circulars and all those things. Okay, my this pencil charge is not there, so just try and understand the concepts. You can note it. So first one that is there is what? First one that is there is circulars. Okay, circulars. Second one is public notice, and third one is bids and tendering. Okay, these are the 3 topics that we are supposed to study. Now, anyone here who knows what is meant by the word circular? What is circular? What is meant by the word circular? Addressing larger mass. Then what is the difference between public notice and circular? Yes, it is correct, Spurti, you are correct. But I am still asking you more questions. What is the difference between public notice and circular? Circular will be sent in person, maybe. Who? Circular may be sent in person. No, 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 my dear. No, no. Public notice will be displayed. Okay. Yes. Okay. So circular basically, very good. Circular basically, it is published. Published in the sense, it is just an announcement. It may be displayed, it may not be displayed. The choice is what? Choice is yes. Now, circular, the information is meant for a large number of people. Okay, we are trying and doing what generally circulars is for large masses. And one more important thing is, these days mostly the circulars are in electronic format. Okay, we do it in which format? In electronic formats. Are you clear with the concept? Public notices generally are not in electronic mode, but this is something which is in public electronic format. Now, what are we supposed to study in this particular topic? So, we are supposed to study one, what is circular? What are the important topics to be considered? What are the important things to be included? And then drafting. We are not doing drafting today, as I already told you. The subject matter is simple. We are trying and concentrating on theory part today. Trying and finishing theory of the chapter. Tomorrow is when we would be doing what? Drafting portions. Make sense? Make sense to all of you? Because first we should understand the theory well. Okay? Okay. So now what is circular? 1. It is a letter or notice which is sent to large number of individuals. Okay, this is something which is sent to large number of individuals. Okay, first point you are supposed to remember is circular is meant for more number of people compared to what? Compared to any other letters. Okay, this is for disseminating the information for larger crowd. Okay, that is the first point for circular. Okay, now second point for circular is simple. So first point is clear to everyone, that is it is sent to large number of people. Okay, I am charging my eye pencil. Okay, so it is sent to large number of people. This is clear to everyone. Second, it can be what? It can be in the form, usually it is in the electronic format, but obviously it can be in written formats also, where it is published on the websites of the company. Okay, websites of the company. Clear with the concept or not? Yes. A company may issue a circular to its employees for disseminating of policy approved by the board of directors. This is an example of circular. A company may issue circular to its employees so that they may get information. Okay, they may get information about what? That a new policy has been approved by the board of directors, and that policy would become applicable soon. Now, what are the important points for drafting a circular? So, when you are drafting a circular, guys and girls, first thing you are supposed to take care is what? There should be an authority. I will tell you on WhatsApp, very like Corona times, we would often see people circulating some circulars saying that government has said that from tomorrow again lockdown is happening. At least I saw many. You know what? Such fake circulars would never have issuing authorities. At the end, there would be always a issuing authority. Or on the top, a letterhead would be there for that purpose. So, Government of India. And down, there would be a signature plus name written who is issuing this particular thing. So, whenever you see a circular, to understand whether it is fake or real, you should try and see whether there is a issuing authority or not. Okay, this is the first point you are supposed to say. The issuing authority would mention the name. Okay, who is issuing it? They would also mention their name, okay, their position and the authority. Alright, so that is something which is supposed to be seen. Details of the addressee. So to whom it is addressed? Yes, it is addressed to large mass, but this large mass may consist of all the employees. This large mass may consist of all the general public. So you have to write to the employees of Arivu Pro, to okay the people, to general public. So like this you are supposed to address it, even if it is for large mass. Okay, it is to be addressed for whom it is meant. Okay, for whom this particular information is meant. You're supposed to include a subject matter. What is the circular all about? What is the subject of the circular? Next, you are supposed to mention what? You are supposed to give the reference of preceding information, if any. If there is any circular before, pursuant to circular number this, subject to circular number this, issued on such and such date, so that people have a reference on for which circular this is considered and which is it is in continuation of which particular circulation. Next, main information. Okay, you are supposed to give what? You are supposed to give what information? What is this circular about? The language should be very easy. No jargons, no difficult words, no technical words should be used to avoid any kind of what? Any kind of ambiguity. Okay, so it should be as simple as possible. Okay, now you are also supposed to mention the next sources of authority. Okay, sources means under what, who has given you the authority to do this. And finally you are supposed to give your signature there so that it looks more reliable. As I told you, fake circulars are seen everywhere. Okay, fake circulars people would keep sending 2000 notes banned, but it was not banned. Okay, it is now converted, so it is official currency still. So this is what, so if you want to find out whether a circular is fake or not, try and see for all these points there. What are the advantages of circular? Easy. Very easy to share the information. The most economical way to share the information. Okay. Now, next is effort required is less. And it creates consciousness among the people that they are supposed to see the information at properly. And it is expeditious. Expeditious means without much efforts, without much much of time consuming job, it disseminates the information to a lot of people at a faster pace. Okay, so that is the advantage of this particular concept. Okay, so LED, that is the advantage which is there for circulars. LED. L stands for less efforts, E stands for economical, is of information, and expeditious. D is what? Develop consciousness. So that's the advantage of circular. Are you clear? Now we are supposed to study the format. Like we would do the format later. So we are done with the first part. Source of authority. Should I elaborate? Okay, I am going back. Sources of authority basically means who has issued it. See here, I am showing you the circular, Government of India dash ministry. So this is the source of authority. Address is given here. Then the entire circular is given. Okay. And this issues with the approval of competent authority. You have written it here. Okay. This is something you have written here. Okay. How it is different from the first one? The only difference is here you are trying and telling that you have got the authority to issue it. Where is the source? Okay. And the issuing authority is the authority who has actually issued it on behalf of the persons. Got it? So source of authority means who has given you the authority to issue it. So the government of India, this department has given me the authority. And who has issued it from that department? Mr. X has issued it from that department. Are you clear with the concepts, Purti, or no? Is it issuing authority means name of the person is mentioned. Okay. Source of authority means the department of that particular person. Okay. Which has given him the source to issue that particular thing. Which has given him the authority to issue that circular is given. That's the only difference between the two. So we have studied 3 topics here. Okay. Part 2 deals with 3 topics. What are the 3 topics, guys? Circulars, public notice, and third one is bidding. We have studied circulars. We finished circulars. 4 topics in circulars, meaning important points in drafts. Next, advantage. And fourth is the draft itself. This is not done by us right now. Drafting is not done by us, guys. Please understand. As I told you, tomorrow is the day when we would be doing the drafts. Today we are studying theory. That is how we would follow for all the chapters. First finishing the theory and then finishing the drafts. Okay. Next, what is meaning? So draft, basically circular, is a document which is used to disseminate information. Disseminate info to whom? To large number of people. Right? Any other point? Yes, there is one more point. Does someone remember that point? Usually in today's world, how is the circular issued? How is the circular issued? Come on, tell me, guys. How is the circular issued? It is issued, very good. It is issued in electronic format. Good job, guys. Good job. Okay. Then we studied important points to be taken care. Okay. Important points include some 7 points to be there. Issuing authority, details of addressee, subject, reference to preceding information, main information, sources and signature. Okay, so these are the topics which are to be included in the circular. Then we studied advantages, which includes LED. L, less efforts. E, ease of dissemination. E, economical. E, expeditious. And D, D is what? I forgot. Develop consciousness. Okay, so everyone develops this thing that, this should be properly seen. Okay, so this is about circulars. Any doubts in circulars? Any questions you have? Except for the draft. I'm not taking drafts today, as I told you. Except for the draft. Anything that is not clear, please ask. No doubts? Okay. Let's move on to the next, guys. So we would study the second topic, that is public notice. Okay. Now public notice basically means what? You are conveying the information to the general public. See, when I talk about what? When I talk about circulars, circulars can be from employees. Okay, it can be for certain specific people to large number of people. But when we talk about public notices, this is something which is issued to general public. Now, can I issue notice to general public? Tell me, guys. Can I issue to the public of Indore? That's where I live. Okay. No, I can't. I cannot command on public. But can I issue a circular to my students? Dear students, no class is happening tomorrow, or extra class is happening tomorrow. Can I issue that? Answer is yes. So basically, the word is public notice. Public notice would be what? Issued to general public, and therefore, for issuing it to general public, it should be something what? It should be issued by authorities, by government. Okay. So they would be issuing it. Public notice like circular, that would be issued to students, which means what? It is a circular, right? I'm issuing it to all students in general. So that is a circular. So that's what I'm trying and giving the difference. It can never be a public notice. Is it clear, Spurti? Yes? Is it clear or not clear? Cool. So public notice, understand the word. The main word here is public. ये public है, सब जानती है. So whenever you are issuing it for public, which means you cannot issue. Anyone cannot issue. It is only the authorities who can issue it. For example, central government, state government, corporates, various persons of various authorities, statutory corporations. Only these people can issue public notice. Okay. Yes, it is also meant for large number of people, but the only difference is this is more official in nature, because it can only be issued by official authorities. You are commanding on public, so it would be issued by government authorities. That's the only difference which you will find in circulars and public notices. Okay. Plus here the number of people would be always more compared to circulars. Circular may be for specific crowd. This may never be for specific crowd. It would be general for for the public. So you are supposed to remember certain important words here. I'll tell you what is the important words. First, this is to convey the information to large number of people. Okay, these announcements are for certain subject matters is for public interest. Okay, something which is of public interest, that is issued here. Third, that is there, it is issued by government agencies. Okay, it is issued by government agencies. And last one is what? Some examples. For example, change in law. Okay, these are the examples. Got it? These are the 4 points you are supposed to remember in public notice. 1, for large number of public. Second, for a certain information which is of public interest. Third, it is issued by government agencies or such individual agencies, okay, which are, somewhere regulated by government. And fourth is example. Now, what is to be included in the draft? You have the name of the issuer, who is issuing it. This is very important because you are issuing something which is for the general public. So it should come from the right hands. Public should be sure that this notice is from the right hands. That's why it should be what? The name of the issuer should come. Details of the issuer, as in the organization to whom they belong. Okay. Then you have headings. Then you have the details. Then you have what is the requirement, what is required to be done by you, the date and place of issue, and the designation of the issuer. All these is required to be mentioned in the public notice. I think all these points are pretty clear, but they may ask you in the exam what are the points to be taken care while drafting a public notice. So you should be able to tell all these 7 points. Name of the issuer, details of the issuer, title heading, comprehensive details, statutory requirements, date and place, and designation. Okay, all this is required to be followed. And then we have the draft. That's it. Draft we would be studying tomorrow. Yes, is the second part also clear to you? Is the second part also clear to you? Yes? Okay, cool. Now, let's move on to the third one, that is standard bids and tenders. Anybody here who knows what is meant by tenders? Can you, yes, this is the garbage truck which comes. Okay, we'll wait for a minute. Alright guys, I'm so sorry. There was a garbage truck which came and Indore has been declared as cleanest city of India for 7 consecutive years. So it's because of all these things. We don't throw any garbage on road. If we throw, we are penalized here. So it's very clean city here. You'll feel that you have come in a foreign city when you visit here. But anyways, I'm so sorry. So the garbage truck comes every morning here, and that's where the truck was there. So yeah, I'm sorry for the disturbance. So guys and girls, we are done with the circulars. Now we are supposed to study with what? We are supposed to start, sorry, public notices is done. Now we are supposed to start with bids and tenders. So my question to all of you is, do you know what is bids and tenders? What is bids and tenders? Offer to do certain work. Varshini says offer to do certain work. Varshini, I offer you, please, or you offer me, ma'am, can I make notes for you? Invitation for offer. Hey, all this is contract act definitions you're giving. Tell me practical world, guys. Is this tender, Varshini? Is this bid? So I'll tell you what is exactly tender and bid. So there is a work, okay. Yeah, example is correct. Construction tender, the example is correct. But please understand what is the concept. So it is not auction. It is not an auction. Listen to me very carefully now. So basically, somebody wants a particular work to be done. This usually happens more in government departments, okay? Bids and tenders, it usually happens more in government departments. So somebody standard bids and tenders means what? Somebody wants a particular work to be done. So they publish a notice in the newspaper that this is our requirement. Let's say we want 10,000 phones to be supplied to all our employees. So they would do what? They would post in the newspaper that government of India is looking for this phone. This is the specification. This is the minimum thing that they are looking for. Now, bids are invited. Bids, okay? So they invite bids from the people that you can submit written bids. Oral nahi hoga. Okay, it would be written. So they would be submitting the oral bids, okay, saying that, sorry, written bids, saying what is the most competitive price they can offer for the quantity they want. This has to be done in a specified time. There would be a deadline. Let's say the deadline is 20th of November. No bids would be accepted. Bids are to be submitted in the sealed manner. Okay, it is to be submitted. For example, let's say I am from government department. I want 10,000 phones. So I'll issue a notice in the newspaper that, tender notice, so that people can submit what? Their bids. You all are, suppose manufacturer of phones, you all submit your bids. Okay, so when you submit your bids, it has to be in writing, it has to be closed, it has to be sealed. No one else can see your bid. What bid Spurti is submitting, okay, it should not be known to Pragati, because Pragati would do what? She'll reduce 100 rupees and give a better quote. Whosoever has a better quote, that price is accepted. So all of you submit the bids, and on the date, on a particular specific date, they do what? They open all the bids and see whosoever is the least with the specifications they want, they give the contract to them. So this is called as what? Bids and tenders. So tender notice is given by the issuing authority. I was the issuing authority, I will issue tender. Bids are submitted by the people who are interested to give what? To sell their products to that particular place. Are you clear what is the bids and what is tenders now? It cannot be oral. It has to be in writing, sealed. Okay. And you have to give the most competitive price of yours for your chances to be selected more in the entire procedure. Okay, in the entire procedure. Usually people try and find out the this thing, who has what particular price they have submitted. So you try and secretly find that particular information, okay, but otherwise no other information is available to the people. So what is tender? Okay, tender is written or formal offer to supply. What am I issuing, guys? I belong to the government department. Do you remember in my example? So what am I issuing? Tender. Okay, please tender your prices. So basically it is a written or a formal offer to supply the goods or to do job for an agreed price. Now you would be submitting what in the tender process? The bids. Okay, you would be submitting, you will even submit a tender, okay, where the price would be mentioned. Okay, at what price you are agreeing to offer. So yes, it's an invitation to offer as it was told by Spurti. Yes, it's an invitation for offer that I am ready to offer my services at this particular price to you. Okay. Now whosoever has the lowest tender, to that person what is given? The tender is given. Are you clear? It is purely the decision and discretion of the issuing authority to whom it is to be, to whom they want to give this particular tender. You cannot say or file a case, how come it was not given to me? Okay, it is their decision. They would decide whom to give and whom not to give. Are you clear? So as per Cambridge Dictionary, tender is a written or formal offer to supply goods or do a job for an agreed price. It refers to an invitation to the offer. Okay, tendering process encourages the availability of goods and services at competitive prices. It also stimulates the availability of resources required in a timely manner. The conditions of tender should comply with statutory regulatory requirements and should not be unreasonable or arbitrary. Case Tata Cellular versus Union of India, it was observed that the terms of invitation or to the tender cannot be open to the judicial scrutiny, as I told you. You cannot file a case in the court for the terms of invitations. That is my choice. You want to do it, do it. You don't want to apply, don't apply for the tender. Okay, but I will give the terms and conditions what I want. What specification of phone I want, I would decide. You cannot decide. You cannot say no. How come you are asking for this? If you want to give, give. If you don't want to offer, don't offer. But it cannot be subject to judicial scrutiny, and this is an important case you need to remember from Tata Cellular versus Union of India. Clear? Understood? Now, what are the conditions which are to be taken care? What are the things to be included in the tendering process? So, the name and the address of the organization is to be given so that you are very sure who is asking for this tender. You are supposed to write the subject of the tender, index of the tender. Index means what? Okay, the index of the document can make the document convenient for the prospective bidder. So index basically includes clearly in a tabular format what exactly you want. Then you have to mention the dates, the date of bidding, the last date of this, the date of, and necessary information. For example, in certain cases you have to give the deposits also, earnest deposits also. So which is refundable. If you get the contract, they'll keep the deposit with them till such time you don't finish the contract. If you don't get the contract, all the deposits are refundable. The dates of opening of the bid, closing of the bid, announcement of the results, everything should be mentioned. Disclaimer clause should be there. Okay, disclaimer, we have all the rights to reserve, we have all the discretion to decide whom to give the bid. So such disclaimer should be given so that nobody can file the case. Job description, what exactly is required to be done, clearly should be mentioned. Okay, you should divide the tender document in parts, guys. There are two parts. Okay, always remember there are two parts in the tender process. Part 1, technical bids. Okay, you are supposed to mention every technical information about what? About the subject matter. Technical information means what? Suppose I want mobile phone. So what mobile I want, okay, which mobile I want, what are the specifications, okay, all that information should be clearly mentioned here. What is the RAM I am looking for? What is the price at which I am looking for? This is not price. So all the technical information about the thing that you want, you should clearly mention. And then you should give the financial bids. We are looking for the bids, so you'll get a bid range 5,000 to 10,000. So like this you can give bid ranges, how much quantity you are looking for, all that information should be mentioned. Next, you are supposed to mention fees and deposits. You are supposed to mention for forfeiture of deposits. When will your deposits be forfeited? When the deposit amount would be just kept with the company. Okay. If the bidder withdraws his bid, you all submitted your bid. I chose Rose. And now Rose is saying I will not give. So your deposit money would be taken by me. If the selected bidder delays, you were supposed to submit, so you were supposed to supply the goods by 10th of December. You delay, I'll keep all your earnest money. Or if you fail to supply the goods, I will keep the. So they may ask you the question, when can the earnest money, that is the earnest money deposits, be forfeited by the person, okay, by the person who has given the tender. So these are the three situations in which it can be what? It can be withdrawn. It can be forfeited. Next is pre-bid meeting. So before bidding, okay, you are supposed to have a pre-bid meeting with the people if you want any clarification, any information. It is not compulsory. If you want any clarification, then you can go. What exactly you are supposed to do, that is also supposed to be mentioned in the document. Next, okay, all the technical information should be mentioned, eligibility criteria should be mentioned. I think this is more or less clear. And what documents you need to submit, that is supposed to be disclosed in the tender. No practicals, no practicals, only two topics for this particular topic, standard bids and tenders. Okay, so first, that is what you are supposed to tell here. Okay, few things. One, what is tender? Okay, that is nothing but a written offer to supply goods at a specified price. Written offer for supply of goods. As you all told already, it is an invitation to offer. And the tender should meet all requirements, that is statutory requirements, regulatory requirements, all that should be met. Finally, a case law is supposed to be studied, which is Tata Cellular case law, which says you cannot get it under judicial scrutiny. Terms and conditions of a tender cannot be put under judicial scrutiny. Second, we studied what are the important points to be taken care. Okay, that is what? Name, subject, index, important dates, disclaimers, job descriptions, all these information. Is it clear or not clear to you? Is it clear or not clear to you? Please tell me. If any doubts, please ask the doubts also. So this is part 2. Okay. Part 2 consists of 3 things. What are the 3 things, guys? Can someone tell me? Do you remember? One was circular, right? Second one was public notice. And third one was bids and tenders. Circulars mein we studied meaning. Then we studied the advantage, which is LED. Then we studied the important points to be considered. Public notice mein we studied meaning and important points to be considered. Bids mein we studied what? Meaning and important points to be considered. Right? So these are the 3 things that we studied. Any doubts in the part 2 of the chapter? Any help you want? Anything you want me to simplify? I will give you the question bank for this particular, matlab, for all the chapters. Don't worry. On all the topics. Any doubts? Come on, come on, come on. Nobody's responding. Why? Anything you want me to simplify for you? No, ma'am. I think there is one thing that all of you should have told me that, ma'am, if these important points you can give acronyms, okay, acronyms really helps. Like advantage LED. Tell me L is what, E is what. You remember the points, right? So that is something which develop consciousness. E is what, expeditious, economical. So at least some points you remember. So like this, we should try and create acronyms for important points also, because what are the type of questions which may be asked here? Okay, let's talk about the questions. Okay, so first in circular, they may ask you define the what is circular, or they may give you circular is used to disseminate information to large number of people. Comment. So like this they may give you. Okay, and second type of question they may ask you is what are the important points to be considered while drafting a circular. So those points you should remember, guys. Third question they may ask you is to draft a circular. In public notice, they may ask you what is the difference between circular and public notice is one and the same thing. Comment. No. Then you should know the answer. What is the answer to this question? What are the important points to be kept in mind while drafting the public notice? So you should know the points. And third question they may ask you is draft. Okay. Now bids and tenders. They may ask you what are the factors to be considered while making a important points to be considered while making a tender notice. So these are the types of question they may ask. Are you able to answer all the questions? Are you in a situation to answer all the questions? Yes or no? Tell me now only. I think you can answer all the questions except for, do you remember the important points for each of them? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, so I think then you can guys can manage if you know all the things till here. So let's talk about part 3 of the chapter. Part 1 we studied the types of documents. So what is document, what is deed, and what is agreement and contract. Second part, how to talk to public, how to disseminate information to the public. 3 ways. One, circular. Second, public notice. And third, bids and tenders. Now third part of the chapter we are studying what? We are studying letter of credits. Okay, that is the first part, first topic that we are supposed to study. Second is bank guarantee. So this is all related with finance. Okay, we are supposed to study the topics of finance now. So second is bank guarantee. Okay, third, that's it. 2 topics in part 3 of the chapter. Fourth part of the chapter consists of bylaws. Okay, we are supposed to study the bylaws of society, show cause notices. Okay, and third one, that is last one, is standing orders. So 3 topics here that we are supposed to study. The good news or the bad news, I don't know what is it. But this last part, the bylaws, the show cause notice and the standing order, is also covered as it is in chapter number 4 again. Okay, it is a repeated topic which is given to you in chapter 4 again. Okay, so chapter 4 also has the same topics. You study here or you study there, it's fine. But once you do this, okay, 2 parts are completed. Okay, so I will just draw a quick chart for you so that you understand the chapter well. So this is chapter 1 we are studying. Part 1, it consists of documents and all. So we are studying meaning of documents, types of documents. Second, we are studying what? Deeds. And third, agreement. Under agreement we studied what? Okay, I'll talk about that later. Part 2, you are studying what? You have studied the public information, about public information. So there are three ways in which public information can be given. It is circulars, it is public notice, and third we studied what? The bids and tenders. Part 3 of the chapter deals with finances. So it has two topics: LOC, letter of credit, and bank guarantee, BG. And last is part 4. See, when you study parts or na, chapter doesn't look bulky. Otherwise, just imagine such a big chapter. But when you study in parts, it's very easy. I just have to remember that particular part, everything in that particular. Oh, you remember LOC and bank guarantee. Very good, Varshini. Part 4 deals with what? Show cause notice, bylaws, standing order, and bonds. So this is in respect of discipline. Show cause notice is a discipline thing, bylaws is a discipline thing. So part 4 deals with discipline things. Okay, that's how the entire chapter is divided. Now what do we have in practicals? Let us see. Okay, what is there in practicals? Circulars, you need to learn the drafts. Public notice, you need to learn the drafts. Bids and tenders, we don't need to learn drafts. Okay, bank guarantee, we need to learn the drafts. Standing orders is given, you can just read it once. Show cause notice, yes, you need to learn the drafts. Bonds and standing orders and bylaws, it's given, but we will just go through it once like that only, because they would never ask draft a standing order. But what if sometimes they would have fought with their wife and sat and made the paper, and they asked such questions: standing order draft karo, okay, draft the standing order. So that's where we at least need to know the formats. That's where we would be studying. But these are the 4 important things which you need to learn in the drafts. Are you clear? Do you want to take a screenshot, or do you want to write it somewhere? Or is it okay? What is it? You're writing? Done? Okay. So I hope till here part 2 everything is very clear to you. Yes? Do you know your homework for the day? 2 things to do. 1, create a proper study desk. And second, make sure that you do what? You write the answer to the question: all deeds are documents and all documents are not deed. Do you remember that? Comment. Do you remember? Yes. So that is something which you are supposed to what? Answer. So this is part 1 and part 2 that we are done. Okay. Part 3 and 4 will finish tomorrow. It's not much now. And we would be done with the practice session tomorrow with circulars, public notice, bank guarantee, and SCN. Okay, all 4 we would finish tomorrow. We will also discuss a question bank tomorrow. If you are able to answer those questions here and there, 70%, 60%, which means you are understanding, you are at the right pace and understanding the subject well. Okay, so tomorrow we would be having a question bank also to discuss the questions of the subject. So yes, that's it from my side. Any feedback you want to give? How did you find the class? Was it okay? Because it has always been online, offline for me for last what 17 years. Okay, I have been associated, one of the founding member for IRIVU. Okay, so we have been associated together since ages now. So yeah, this time is the only time when I'm taking it online. Always I've been coming and taking face to face. So tell me guys, any feedback, any questions, any queries you have, anything you want me to help you with, please let me know. All okay? Perfect, perfect. Okay, guys, so that's it from my side. I shall be seeing you tomorrow morning 6:30 sharp. Okay, and we would be starting with part 3 and part 4. Meanwhile, make sure that you revise part 1 and part 2. There would be a quick quiz at the start of the class. Okay, and we would be doing the scoring in the class, seeing who would be winning in the class. Okay, who is the winner for that particular thing. Okay, so that is something which we are supposed to see. Got it? Yes? Okay, thank you so much. It was lovely interacting with you. I shall see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Bye bye.